Today we're going to be baking a cake, and it's going to take us less than 15 minutes. Here are the ingredients. It's pretty much whatever the back of your chosen cake mix says. And then here are the tools that we're going to use. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to use a marble fudge cake mix, and I'm going to make a cake in less than 15 minutes. Basically, all you have to do is follow the mixing instructions on the back of any cake box, and that will tell you what you need to do. So I'm using my classic batter bowl. It comes with a lid, but I won't need it today. And if you're interested in one of these, it's on page 52 in your catalog. And so I'm just going to pour the mix into the bowl. No, no, no. Then it asks me to put in 1 cup of water. And I've measured these with the measuring cups that they have available. These are on page 53. They come in a set. And what I really like about this set is that the pieces clasp together so that you don't have to have them just freely in your drawer. And they also have sizes like 2/3 a cup and 3/4 of a cup, so you don't have to keep measuring if you need 3/4 of a cup. Plus, it comes with this handy leveler to where if you're measuring flour or sugar, you can just scrape the top of it really easy to get a completely accurate measure. Okay, then I'm going to add my oil. It calls for 1/3 of a cup. And then it calls for 3 eggs. Okay, and I just noticed that I got a little bit of eggshell in here, and so somebody actually taught me a trick. If you use the egg shell, like a large piece, it actually will adhere to it, and you'll be able to get that little piece of eggshell out a lot easier than if you were to try to trace it. There we go. And the last thing that I do, and I do this when I bake a cake, if I'm using a box mix, I always add a little package of pudding. It makes the cake a little bit more moist. Okay, so far I've started mixing together all of my ingredients, and I'm doing that using the mini mix and scraper. You can find that on page 55. What I really like about the mini mix and scraper, it's kind of like a spatula. It still will scrape a bowl, but it's got a little bit of a spoon type thing, so that if you're ever needing to taste test anything, or you need to just do just a little bit outside, it really helps you with that. So for this particular cake, once you get everything mixed really well, you actually have to separate the batter to create the marbled look. And so what I'm going to use is the small batter bowl for the separation, because I still have to mix with it. And it asks you to take about a cup out. Okay, and I'm going to use my skinny scraper that's also found on page 55 to help scrape this out of the cup and on the outside of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my rock crock. Now you can find this on page 22 and 23 by itself, but if you're interested in purchasing a set that comes with a cookbook and some bamboo spoons, then that's on page 34 in the catalog. Okay, and I'm going to spray this down with a nonstick. It just helps for the cake to come out a lot easier once you take it out of the microwave. Now I'm going to add the chocolate to the marbled part of the cake. And I'm going to just go ahead and keep using my skinny scraper and mix that in with the cake. Now what I really like about these batter bowls, the old ones used to connect here, and these are actually more storable because you can stack them now, and it also creates a handle for you to hold on to while you mix. Okay, once I have that set, the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to add a little bit of this to the bottom of the pan because we're creating a marbled look. And I'm just going to spread it around to random parts of the bottom of the pan so that the top of the cake has some of the marbled look to it too. Then I'm going to pour in the vanilla batter. And this is exactly why I really love these mini mixing scrapers, because it's really going to scrape every single bit of that batter into the pan. Now, if you make a cake and you have leftover batter that you can use for later, these come with lids and you can store that in the fridge and use that in how many ever days that you want. I'm just going to kind of even this out along the top. And now I'm going to add my chocolate to it. And what I kind of do, it suggests you do it with a toothpick when you make it separate, but I'm just going to run this through in a swirly pattern as I add it. I try to go all the way to the bottom so that you can see it all the way from the bottom. Alright, as soon as this finishes, we'll be putting this in the microwave. You can see how I've swirled the chocolate and vanilla batter together, And what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to add the lid like this, and I'm going to take it to the microwave. I'm just going to place it in the microwave and set it for anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes. My microwave does really well on 11 minutes. Okay, so I'll get back with you in 11 minutes. Alright, I'm going to use my little miniature microwave grips. You can just stick your hands right in them, and they actually are going to help me to get this pan out without burning my fingers. Okay, and what I like to do is, just like you would do if you were in an oven, I'm going to check this cake with a toothpick. And if the toothpick comes out clean like that, then that means the cake is baked all the way through. So our cake is baked all the way through and ready to eat. Okay, so these microwave grips, you can find them on page 18 if you're interested in these. They can also work really well with pulling anything out of the oven when you don't have, you know, if you want to have more flexibility for grabbing. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my nylon knife, and it's found on page 20, and I'm just going to kind of circle around the pan to ensure that the edge of the cake is away from the edge of the pan. Okay, after I've done that, I'm going to flip the pan over onto a flexible cutting mat. Okay, these flexible cutting mats are really, really great. I use them all the time. They're dishwasher safe. They're easy to store. So they're really great for if you need to cut something but you don't need a cutting board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to flip it onto the mat. And we have our marble cake. So anytime I have cake, I have to have ice cream with my cake. So I'm going to go ahead and get our ice cream right out of the freezer. And I've got a bowl here. I'm going to cut me a piece of cake using my nylon knife that I used earlier. You can see the marbling in the cake. Makes for a really great cake. And this cake, what I like about this too, is if you need to do a 2-layer cake, this is actually almost the same as about a 2-layer cake. You won't have to bake it in 2 individual pans. And then you can ice it if you want after it cools later. I just don't even ice them. I eat them without the icing. I'm not really an icing person. So now that I've got my cake cut, I'm going to go ahead and get my ice cream ready, and I'm going to use the ice cream scoop. You can find the ice cream scoop on page 56, and what I really like about this ice cream scoop is it has some sort of technology in it to where the top of the scoop is able to cut through ice cream really easily. I'm not very good at scooping ice cream, and I was really, really bad at it until we got one of these. And I can actually do this. I won't have to get my husband to do this for me. So we don't have very much ice cream left, but you can see it just very easily scoops for you the ice cream out with very little effort. Okay, and that is my cake in 15 minutes or less.